through again. Yesterday we did the add rules. Today we're doing the subtract rules. So the add rules again are if the signs are the same, you add them and keep the sign. If the signs are different, you subtract them then remember what sign you keep? Keep the sign at a bigger number. Okay, so you guys put those away now. The subtract rules. You do two things, which changes it to an add problem. You change the subtract sign to add. Then change the sign of the second number then you use add rules. Okay? You may remember that as anytime you see a subtraction, you change the sign, right? Never change the first number, and when you're doing an add problem, you never change any signs. So like -6 take away 7. You change the sign, change the sign. Always change two signs, never just one, always two. Then you use add rules. They're both negative, so you add them up and keep the sign. Okay? So today's stuff is really the same as yesterday's, except it has subtraction in it. So again, you can use calculators. Those of you who never gotten yesterday, it's just adding, but you can use calculators. Now, terms. Terms are separated. Hey, come back to your seats.
Calculator?
Terms are separated by add and subtract signs. So if you had like 2xy to the third z, how many terms is in this expression?
0.
No, 0.
1.
There's one term because they're all connected. If you had 5x minus 3y plus 7 take away 2 z's. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 terms. They're all separated by add, subtract. Right. So they're all subtracted, or I mean separated by the add and subtract signs anytime you have terms. So again, just a quick one to go through this. This has 1, 2, 3 subtractions in it. Again, you can just use a calculator, but you should know these rules. You got to change the sign for that subtraction. Change the sign for this one. Change the sign for that one. Now it's all add, and adding is commutative, which means you can do this in any order that you want. So what I would do is add up all the negatives. -5, -3, and -5 makes -13. And then there's a +1, -12.
That's easy.
Yeah, that's easy. Finding terms, again, like I showed you, when they say to find the terms, there's a term, there's a term, there's a term. So there's 3 terms.
Is it the same for like a multiplied by?
Yep.
It's like still.
Yep. Right. If you had something like this, this is still just one term because it's all connected. They gotta be separated by plus and minus. So when they say find the terms, All we're really worried about for future stuff that we do is you need to know how many terms there are. So there is just 2 terms there.
You just put
2
two.
terms. Okay, a function table. We did those, remember, in chapter 1? We did the X, Y. So here again, they have input, output with the function in the middle. You would just do it like this. They tell you what X to use. -2, -1, 0, and 1. And then here's the problem. 2 times -2 is -4. Take away 3 is -7. 2 times -1 is -2. Take away 3 is -5. Do you see the pattern already? Plus 2 each time. So this would be -3 and -1. So again, it's doing stuff we've done before. It's just now making sure you know the subtract rules. When you punch this in a calculator, you don't need to put the parentheses there. You can. It'll count it right if you do. The only reason they put parentheses there is to keep the sign separate. This is exactly the same problem. It's just sometimes it looks confusing when you have 2 signs next to each other. So you could just put it in just like this. Now remember on your calculators, these, you put the number in first and then you hit the minus sign, which is right down here. It's got a plus minus. The big ones, you put the minus sign in first and then the number. I don't know what it is on your iPads.
It doesn't matter.
Huh?
I think
It
it's
goes
just like,
both
you can use
ways.
them.
What?
Can you cook it after and before?
Yeah.
I said it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, both work? Oh, good. Okay, so again, you would just go -3.84 minus -1. Now, this is another thing. Sometimes people mess up. For this sign right here, you gotta use the negative sign. You can't use the subtract sign. Okay? Sometimes people just hit subtract back and forth, and then what will happen is you'll get an error. So make sure when the number is negative, you hit that minus sign. On those calculators, it's got the plus and the minus sign. Okay? So, should be pretty easy.